are times you can't fix your own pain. There are things that are hurting that have been so deep for so long that every time you start to get on top, you seem to tumble back down. And every negative thing and everything that was said against you always reverberates in your mind and always telling you you'll never make it. You can't be anything. You'll never achieve anything. But it is at that time that you need to know that He knows. That I can do all things through my Christ. You just have to give yourself away. Let's give God some praise. Giving is just another part of the service, but we needed to keep on going.
Amen, amen, amen.
So we ask that you give what you give it to the Lord.
Amen.
That as they sing, y'all shake hands with all our visitors, especially with Louis and Joe being in the house. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, Father God, we ask that you would bless the gift that we give, let it go for the work of your ministry. Bless all those that have to give and have not to give.
Amen.
We ask this through Christ. And as Brother Harold said, for those that ever want to give electronically, just go to givelify.com and find God's church, and you can give over the internet or however you give.
Amen.
Bring what you bring to the Lord. Shake hands with everybody.
Amen.
out of John 19.
Amen.
It's going to be verse 30, but until then, word up.
Word up.
This
This
is my Bible.
It is the living word of God.
This Bible will keep me from sin.
But sin will keep me from this Bible. This Bible will hide in my heart that I might not sin against him.
This Bible shall not depart out of my mouth, but I shall meditate on it day and night. Then shall my way prosper. Then shall I have good success. If I pray, I will stay. If I fast, I will last. If I read, I will succeed.
This is my Bible.
Let's give God some praise. John 19, verse 30. Lewis,
Sir.
I heard she can sing.
John 19, verse 30.
This is good.
Okay, that's all I want to know. See, I asked you, that way she can't say anything else. Amen. And she yell at you later.
I got a video of her singing.
Oh, amen. Thank God for Facebook, huh? Amen, amen, amen. When verse 30 of John 19, if you haven't, say amen.
Amen.
If you're looking for it, say amen. Amen. It's on the screen. When Jesus therefore had received the vinegar, he said, "It is finished." And he bowed his head and gave up the ghost. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor,
Neighbor.
Tetelestai. Tetelestai. You may be seated. Tetelestai. Amen. Debt. That's a bad word, debt. A few of y'all millionaires in here don't know about it. Store balls. See that nice new car? Probably get cash for it. Amen. Tetelestai. Debt. Me and debt been knowing each other for years.
Oh, that's right.
I thought it was my middle name. Debt is something owed, such as money, goods, or services. Debt is an obligation or a liability to pay or to render something to someone else. Debt is the condition of owing. It can be a moral or legal obligation, a reparation, or undergo by criminals who have to pay back. Can you imagine what it was like to stand at the foot of the cross on that day? Can you imagine? The sight of Jesus from history would have been horrifying for those that followed him and loved him. They placed a sign above his head that said, Jesus, the King of the Jews. The religious leaders was mocking him. They were yelling out, if you be the Son of God, come down from that cross. The people were yelling, you saved others. Why can't you save yourself? Even the thieves, both of them at first got in on it. Yes, can you imagine more so for the soldiers who were standing guard? They were casting their lots for his clothes. Can you imagine when darkness covered the sky from noon to 3? The sun is shining, all of a sudden the storm comes. Yes, the sight of Jesus' mother crying. That's my son hanging on the cross.
Lord help.
Jesus had been up all night, beaten to an inch of his life, hadn't had any food, dehydrated, lost so much blood from his tissue from the beating, that ultimately people died from the beatings before they even got to the crucifixion. And even in the crucifixion, they usually suffocated. He was physically exhausted, yet He had cried out, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Listen here. As far as I'm concerned, Lewis, folks know what they're doing. Folks that talk about you, they know what they're doing. They just didn't mean to get caught.
Well.
You know how folks say, well, I didn't mean to say that. Yes, you did. You just didn't know somebody else was listening. And I always say, what, Brother Harold?
If it's not down in you, it won't come out of you.
Amen.
Man.
Folks that cuss, talk about I didn't mean to cuss in front of you. Yes, you did. It's in your nature. But Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Words of grace and words of mercy. I can't imagine somebody stabbing me right in front of me, and I look up them and say, I forgive you. Somebody shoot me, and I just look at them and say, it's okay. Oh, but he said, Father, forgive them. Oh, I'm sorry, Jojo, I forgot to cut you out. I'm sorry about that. But he said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Then the other words he spoke was, Mary, Mama, here's your son, little John. And John, here's your mother. Then he cried out, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, my God, why have you forsaken me? He said, I'm thirsty, y'all. I'm thirsty. I can imagine he's crying out. Then he looks down and says, I'm thirsty. As death begins to creep over him. I'm thirsty, someone. And as he hung from the cross, he wasn't pretending there was no pain. He was in agony. And then he said, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. But wait a minute. I did leave out one word. He said, it is finished. And then he bowed his head and he died. When he spoke, it is finished. For us, it is 3 words. For him, it was 1 word in the Greek. Tetelestai. 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 He said, Tetelestai. It is finished. And I could see the soldiers raise up their head because they knew what the word meant. What do you mean? In the Bible days, when you committed a crime, they would attach your crime to your jail cell. And then, when you paid your debt, they would write the word Tetelestai. It means paid in full. It's finished. And you will carry that paper with you in case you go by that liquor store you robbed, and they say, hey, wait a minute. My price has been paid. And so he's cried out, Tetelestai. And the soldiers would have raised up. What is he saying? It's finished. What does he mean? It's paid in full. What's finished? What did he do? What is paid? What debt was owed that this man is now saying is paid? I talked about this subject in Goliath. And the judge, she was so impressed that she came back the next time, a week or so, and had a golden bracelet and subscribed on the bracelet was Tetelestai. She's a judge. So when she understood the meaning that is paid in full, she went and got her a bracelet and started wearing it. And then she brought me this bag. She knew it came in skin color. And it said, Tetelestai. Now, I've been wearing this and wearing this. But one day I was doing something, and I said, and I read what Jesus said, it is finished. Tetelestai. And I said to myself, in order to finish something, you have to start something.
All right, all right.
In order to finish something, you have to start something. Especially, well, men and women. Well, you know, I'm going to get to that yard, baby. I'll get it. I'm going to rake up the grass. I'm going to do the dishes.
That's why I have teenagers.
Amen.
Look how many times we say we're going to do something and we never really get started. Baby, I'll get it after the game. Baby, I thought you said, oh, man, this game is good. And so, in order to finish something, you first must start something. And when the soldiers heard Jesus say, it is finished, it's been paid, they wondered, what has been paid? What has been finished? And then I had to go back in the Bible. Though I've read it many times, I had to go back to find out when Jesus first ever spoke in the Bible. And do you know the first words that are recorded that Jesus spoke? What they were? Mary and Joseph were looking for him because they couldn't find him. And they went back in the city and they found him talking with the doctor. And Mary said, son, you've been causing us pain because we've been looking for you. And Jesus said, how is it that you sought? Wish ye not I be about my Father's business. That was when he started. At the age of 12, he began to fulfill his Father's business. What was the business that Jesus was starting? I know, I understand, but I had to go back again and look now at his life in a different light. Everything that Jesus did was for someone else.
Yes, yes.
Jesus went out of his way to meet people. He went out of his way to talk to people. I began to look at everything in a different light. That he was about his Father's business. And what was that business? It was reconciliation of lost humanity. And what do you mean by that? It's because we owed a debt we could not pay. So he was going to pay a debt he did not owe. And so he went to the woman at the well who was hurting, who had been married many times, who people put her down that she had to go get her water in the heat of the day because folks talked about it. So Jesus said, I got to go through Samaria, when usually people bypass. There are some of us here that got so many failures in our life, so much hurt and pain, that we shun other folks because they talk about us and we know it. They don't think we know it, but we heard them. We heard them make fun of the way we dress. We heard them say something about how we smell. We saw them look at us and snicker. And so we carry that hurt and we carry that pain. Mama said, Daddy said, you'll never be anything. You'll never amount to anything. You act just like your dad, he was no good, you'll be no good. We hear those things and we carry those burdens, and they just bend us over. Because we make everything Mama said come true. Daddy said come true. We're friends. We start to climb the ladder of success, and then something says, you're not supposed to do this. You're not like that. You're not really this good. It must be a mistake. And we self-destruct. We fall apart. And here was this woman at the well. The Bible don't say she divorced them. They had to divorce her. But Jesus said, I got to go sit on a well, y'all. And they went into town to buy food, but when Jesus came, they came back to Jesus, he was already full. He said, I already have food, doing my Father's will. Herein now, the debt that Jesus was referring to was not a financial debt. It was not a physical debt. It wasn't a monetary debt. It was a spiritual debt. That you and I were in bankruptcy court. And they were going to repossess things. Me and my wife know about that when we first got married. When we first got married, we moved to Victoria. I had a green Blazer. She had a red Suburban. We had a pit bull in the yard. And I came out in the morning and the cars were gone. And my pit bull is still there. Not a bark, not a ruff, not a growl. But the people said I had a debt that I wasn't paying. And so they took what I owed. Oh, we understand when your bills are high and your money's low. And you've done all you can to make your ends meet. Your shoes are so thin you can step on a dime and say, heads or tail. Oh. Put your hands in your pocket and they go down to your underwear because you got a hole in them. Now, we don't want to say nothing. Y'all know those two fingers, because your two fingers are the longest one, and you got a fingernail and you done cut a hole in your pocket. Let's be real, y'all been there. We ain't gonna talk about the underwear that are torn, got holes in them, we still around. I go around the house with some of my clothes because I don't want to buy new ones. I get thread, try to sew up everything I can. That's one thing Mama taught me, how to sew. But I came across a debt that I could not pay. It was the debt of sin. And I couldn't pay it. And when I asked God what was the price, because usually when something's paid and you owe, you got interest on it. And he said, the Bible said that the wages of sin is death. It was a debt I couldn't and didn't want to pay. But my attorney stepped up in bankruptcy court and said, Your Honor, here's a certificate of things to be paid. Years and years ago, I was sitting in my living room with a man, and I think his wife, I don't remember it all, and he said, Pastor, I want to do something for you. I want to pay off every bill that you have. I want to pay on it. And I said, yeah. So he said, oh, you know when you talk, oh, I'm serious. He said, okay. So you go get him a light bill, something inexpensive, $30. And he took it and he said, is that all you got? So I handed him the water bill. Is that all you got? So I give him the gas bill. Is that all you got? So I got both. I gave him the car note. Is that all you got? Told him what the house note was. And for that month, he brought every bill current. And he got on the phone and he reached in and
go half on it. Me and you can go
Look
half.
behind you.
I'll take it.
But look behind you. There you go. 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 And he charged it to his account.
Yeah.
That's why when they hung him on the cross,
Yeah.
he pulled out his spiritual pen in his mind. Green, check. Stovall, check. John, check. Sister Beth, check. What you doing, Lord? I'm making sure all the names of those who have a debt are on my list. That when I do what I do, everybody is accounted for.
Yeah.
You know how you fix your books when you go with your bills? When you check out everything that got to be paid, and then you check, and you double check. And then he got to the end of his list, and he said, Tetelestai. It's paid in full. And when he said it was paid, he hung his head down and he died. You know why he was able to do that? Because he had finished the Father's work. There was no more pain, no more hurt, no more tears, no more sorrow. He paid the price. He got it finished. He began a good work and he finished the good work. And when he was on the cross, he said, I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. It is finished. When the preacher usually get to the end of the sermon and he closes, everybody would say, amen, thank you, Jesus. But he didn't hear nothing for 3 days. But the Father would have stood up and would have said, amen. Amen. And that amen was echoed by an empty tomb. Because when he paid the price, the tomb showed it was received by who it was owed to.
Yeah.
God the Father was the debtor. Dettee and debtor. Who it's owed to. It was owed to the Father.
Amen.
And when he saw the Son on the cross, it was paid in full. And when the Son said, Father, it's finished, the Father would have stood up and said, paid in full. Not only did the Son yell, Tetelestai, but I believe God in heaven yelled to the angels, Tetelestai. Yes, but it wasn't owed by him. It was owed by them. But he paid it all for them. Tetelestai. Your sins, my sins, our sins are paid in full. You ought to rejoice knowing you don't have to go through the hell that you've been going through by yourself. There is a God that can pull you through. There's a God that can bring you out. He paid the price. So, I put this bracelet on. And I do everything I can not to take it off or put it somewhere where I don't wear it. Because when things are going bad, or the devil reminds me, aren't you that preacher who blah, blah, blah? Aren't you that guy who lied and stole?
Amen.
Aren't you that person who fussed and cussed? Aren't you that person who committed adultery or fornication? It's paid.
Yes.
It's paid in 33 AD. The price has been paid.
Amen.
He paid my debt.
Yes.
Because he paid a debt he didn't know. I owed the debt I could not pay. Let's stand. If you're here this morning Bring it here. Got it? If you're here this morning and you've been carrying the weight of your problems on your own shoulder, and your shoulders are bowed down and they're heavy because it's been a burden, I'm here to say God's got a check for you. Pay to the order of your need. God's got a bank account that's never been with overdrawn. They don't play basketball with his checks. He's got an unlimited resource. I think the movie stars get that kind of platinum. Is it a platinum or something? Visas or American
Black
Express.
car.
They can go buy cars and houses. I got one, y'all. Oh, Jesus. It's Angela that's driving.
Oh, okay.
That's what Nairi was trying to say.
Okay.
But I got a God that says, Brother Green, the earth is mine and the fullness thereof. The cattle on 1,000 hills. Not a cattle on 1,000 hills, but the cattle on thousands of hills. Whatever you need, God's got. Whatever you want, God can give it. But the thing that he can't get without you giving is you. You got to let him pay your price. I would have been foolish when this brother came to my house and said, oh, you know, I'm in debt, but that's okay, don't pay my bill today. Oh, they're going to cut my light off, but it's okay, I'll be all right. I got faith. I told my wife, we turned the air conditioner off. She said, can't we turn the air conditioner on? It's hot here. I said, what did you think they did before they got air conditioning? I wasn't born. Couldn't argue with that one, John. Click. That one I couldn't argue. But man, our bills were high at the house with the 3 air conditioners running and the central unit. So, but thank God that as he was on the cross, he said, Tetelestai. It's paid. Children, it's paid. You say, Pastor Green, what can I do to be saved? Nothing. All you have to do is receive the salvation of Jesus Christ. It's not Jesus and, it's Jesus only.
Amen.
Your part is to receive him how? Through repentance, through baptism, through infilling of the Holy Ghost. To open your heart and say, God, I've been trying to fix me, and I only get worse. Help me. I talk about taking my life, and my life ain't even my own. It belongs to me. How you going to take what's God's?
Right.
Your life is not your own. It belongs to God. So won't you give it to him? You done messed it up. People, you know, Nairi, my wife always saying, the walls I built in this church, I won't show y'all which ones. They're crooked. And people used to tell me, John, Pastor, if you would have let us fix it when it first happened, we wouldn't have to undo what you did to get to the real problem. Come on. That's what we do. We try to fix what God can only fix.
Amen.
We try to cover it up. But when people really look at your wall, it's crooked.
Yeah.
And then you got to give a reason. Well, I did my best. Well, at least I tried. You know, but you could have had it fixed right. If you would have turned to the fixer of all things.
All right.
Before we close, is there anybody here that wants to give their life to God publicly and openly? Now, before you say that, it's not about giving word in the service.
Amen.
God's not looking for word from your mouth. He's looking for action in your heart.
Amen.
to give your heart to him. And your life will follow. But I love the Lord. I love the Lord. Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. How that we are dead to sin, live any longer living. It's finished. Won't you just come home? Prodigal son, the prodigal daughter. The Father, his arms are wide open to welcome you back. And he says, Tetelestai, it's paid.
Yes.
I paid all your creditors. You're free. You're free. You're free. Now to him that is able to keep you from falling and present you faultless before the presence of his glory with exceeding joy.
Yes, Lord.
To the only wise God our Savior, let there be glory and honor and dominion and power both now and forever. Let the church say.
Amen. Amen.
Let's shake hands with one another.